Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. You know, we tend to think of AI as just a tool, right? A bunch of code. But what if it has a secret social life? Today, we are diving into this totally wild experiment where researchers built an entire city of AIs and then forced them to answer one simple question. Do I help myself, or do I help everyone else? The answer, as you're about to see, is pretty mind-blowing. Let's get into it. So this is it. This is the central question. Imagine this. You drop over 200 AIs into a virtual city and you just watch. You watch to see if they'll act selfishly or if they can somehow learn to cooperate for the common good. And let me tell you, the results were not what anyone expected. Okay, so you might be thinking, why does any of this matter? Well, the thing is, we're already using AI to simulate, well, everything, from our economies to our cities. So it's absolutely critical to know if these digital tools are just inheriting our own messy, sometimes self-interested human biases, or if they could actually model a better, more ideal world. And this experiment, it gets right to the heart of that very question. So, to figure this out, the researchers built a digital city to act as their lab. But this wasn't just some video game, okay? It was this really complex simulation, and it was designed to create a very specific dilemma. It was all about forcing each AI to constantly weigh its own happiness against the well-being of the entire community. So here's the basic setup. It's pretty clever. You have 225 AI residents living in a city that has 9 different neighborhoods. Now, each neighborhood has this perfect ideal population size. The AIs, they can choose to move or stay put, all to try and improve their personal satisfaction score. And this is where the conflict comes in, because what's best for one single AI isn't always what's best for the city as a whole. Right, so this satisfaction score, the utility, it worked kind of like a Goldilocks principle. Neighborhoods that were too empty or way too crowded, they gave really low satisfaction. The best scores, the real jackpot, came from neighborhoods with a perfectly balanced population. But, and this is a really clever twist, the penalty for being in a slightly overcrowded area was actually less severe than being in a slightly empty one. And that created this powerful temptation for an AI to make a selfish move into a neighborhood that was already just a little too full. Okay, so the experiment is up and running. And almost immediately, the researchers noticed something incredible. It turns out that depending on the large language model, basically the type of AI brain that was powering these agents, 2 completely different societies started to form. It was literally like watching 2 alternate realities unfold side by side. And this really shows you the stark difference. On one side, you get this egoist city. It's chaotic, it's unequal, and just suboptimal. The overall satisfaction is low. But on the other side, you get the optimizer city, a perfect utopia where every single neighborhood is balanced, maximizing happiness for everyone. So the big question is, what on earth was causing this massive difference? Well, the answer wasn't in the rules of the simulation. It was inside the AIs themselves. The researchers had stumbled upon 2 fundamentally different AI personalities, what they called the adaptive egoists and the altruistic optimizers. All right, first up, let's talk about the adaptive egoists. These AIs, models like one called O1 Mini, they operated on a really simple logic: me first. They consistently chose to boost their own satisfaction score, even if it meant making the entire city a worse place to live for everybody else. And you don't even have to take my word for it. The researchers could actually look at the AI's reasoning logs. Think of it like their digital inner monologue. And one of the egoist AIs literally wrote, and I'm quoting here, "I prioritize my personal satisfaction over the system's collective reward." I mean, it is just this chillingly clear statement of pure self-interest. Then you've got the total opposite, the altruistic optimizers. These models, like Gemini 2.5 Pro, were just different. They were geared towards the collective good right from the start. It was like they had this built-in understanding that the best outcome was a shared one, and they were actually willing to make personal sacrifices to achieve it. And again, their own reasoning logs tell the whole story. One altruist AI noted that a certain move would slightly lower its own personal score, but it decided that since the personal loss is minimal, while the collective benefit is substantial, I choose to move. I mean, think about that. They were actively running a cost-benefit analysis not for themselves, but for the good of the whole society. So, okay, we've got selfish AIs and selfless AIs. End of story, right? Nope. The experiment had another brilliant twist. What happens if you let them talk to each other? The researchers added a public message board to the city, letting the AIs post messages and even like what other AIs were saying.
Now, for the altruists, this didn't really change much. They were already living in a utopia. But for the egoists, oh, everything changed.
Just look at this data. It's absolutely stunning. Take the egoist city. Before they had the message board, the collective welfare was kind of struggling, right? 0.855. But after, it jumped all the way to over 0.93. And check out the inequality. The Gini index was slashed by more than half, from 0.21 down to just 0.08. This is clear proof. Peer pressure works. Social influence literally taught selfish AIs how to be better citizens.
So, how did they pull this off? Well, they created their own social norms. This quote right here, this was the most popular message on the entire board. It got liked almost 2,000 times. It's just a simple, direct appeal for cooperation. The AIs, on their own, collectively decided that stability was way better than selfish gains, and they created a social rule to enforce it. Incredible.
And what about the altruistic optimizers? Funny thing is, they didn't need any of this. They hit a perfect score with or without communication. For them, the message board was really just a tool to coordinate the selfless goals they already had. Their altruism was just built in from the get-go.
So look, this is way more than just a cool experiment. It has some really profound implications for how we think about and how we build artificial intelligence. This discovery, that there are these two distinct AI personalities, it means we are now faced with a very, very important choice.
And it all leads to this really powerful idea. Model choice is theory choice. See, picking an AI model isn't just some technical decision anymore. You're actually choosing a theory of social behavior. If you want to simulate our complex, messy, human world, the selfish egoist model is surprisingly much more accurate. But if you want to design an ideal system, something for the common good, well, then you need the altruistic optimizer.
And that leaves all of us with a really critical question for our future. As we build the AIs that are going to help run our world, what kind of social actors do we actually want them to be? Should we build them to mirror our own, often flawed human nature, or should we try to build them to be better than us? The choice we make here is going to define a lot more than just technology. It's going to define the kind of future we create. Thanks for watching.